Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me. This is Adam H. Cole, your couples financial counselor, and I help couples who love each other make sure that the money conversation doesn't get in the way. And I do this by helping them draw out their money story so that they can heal and transform their relationships to money and each other. Today, I'm bringing you a very special video about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that are essential for any money conversation to succeed. If you do these 7 things, you will have a powerful, helpful conversation that will create greater intimacy and connection between you and whoever you're talking to. But particularly since I work with couples, right, your significant other. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you something that I know you're going to enjoy, and it's going to be totally free. So I'm going to get right into it. Number 1, the first step is leave the technology behind and get connected to your partner, not to the internet, to your partner. And this is going to be different for each couple, however they like to do this. Some people like to talk about their days. Some people might want to watch a show together. Some people open up a glass of wine. There's no right or wrong. It's just whatever gets the two of you connected and whatever has you put the technology away so you can be present with each other and create the kind of ambiance that's conducive to an intimate conversation. Secondly, you want to choose a priority for your conversation. Now, especially if this is one of your first conversations about money or first in a long time, you might be like, there's so many things I want to talk about, and I get that, right? But remember, relationships, deeply intimate, long-term relationships are a marathon, not a sprint. So choose a priority between the two of you and have that be the priority for this conversation. And let me just say, try not to get caught up in an argument about this. Just know and trust that you're going to continue to have conversations and you can tackle each issue. But you don't want to have too much on your plate and then you're kind of caught in your own head while you're talking about issue number 1, you're thinking about issue number 2. In my experience, it's just not that helpful. Really focus on one thing, especially if this is a difficult area for you talking about money and finances. Just pick one topic, keep it simple. Third is you want to ask your partner clarifying questions and open-ended questions. So clarifying questions are just what they sound like. So can you say more what you mean when you say, I think we spend too much on going out to eat? Or, what do you mean when you say vacations? Do trips to visit mom and dad count? Or is it only when we go away, just the two of us to an island somewhere, right? And then open-ended questions. So open-ended questions are questions where the answer is not just one word or a yes or a no. So for example, if you were going to ask somebody about retirement, would you say, or let's say even buying a home, would you say, hey, do you want to buy a home? That's just a yes or no answer versus if you say, hey, what are your thoughts on home ownership, right? Can you just see that's going to give your partner so much more space to reflect and connect with you, and you're going to understand them so much better. So that's step 3, asking open-ended and clarifying questions, just asking good questions overall. Step 4 is you want to make sure that your partner knows that you're listening to them and that they can tell. And the best way to do this is to give them empathy or empathize. Basically, you probably heard this term before. It's like putting yourself in their shoes. And this doesn't mean you necessarily agree with them. It's just that you kind of put your consciousness over there with them and do what you can to understand the world through their eyes, because then it'll be clear why they did the things that they did, right? So this is related to the third point, which is asking those questions, so that, keep asking questions until you can really kind of see it. Or if you think you see it, how they see it, you're like, so is this what's happening? Are you looking at it this way because of these reasons? And you can always say, like, is that right? Am I wrong? How would you say it? Those are all really helpful little tweaks there to how you're communicating that can get you a lot deeper with your significant other. So once you have heard your partner out and helped get to the bottom of whatever's going on for them, now you're going to want to share your own perspective. And a really great tip here is to use I statements. You may have heard of this before, but it's basically the kind of generic form is like, I feel this way when this other thing happens because such and such reason. But if that seems too bland, it's basically just like, own your own feelings. Like, I feel scared that if we put a down payment on a house, we're not going to have enough money left over if anything breaks down, if we need to replace the roof or get a new water heater or retile the floors, right? This way you're owning your feelings, because a lot of times what happens is like someone will say to the partner, you just want to buy a house and that's irresponsible and you're being irresponsible, versus like, hey, I'm actually afraid, I'm kind of nervous, anxious about this because I don't want us to be putting things on a credit card, right? So own your feelings, own your experience, own your own values, and try and be vulnerable, right? That's a one way for you to get there. Now, step 6, just like you were striving to understand your partner, you deserve to be understood and heard as well. So check in with them and make sure they understood you. And there's a way to do this without being like patronizing or like feel like you're testing them. You just kind of say like, if they're not necessarily replying, first of all, you might sense just from their body language that they get you, they get what you're saying. But if you're unsure, you could be like, hey, so how did you feel about what I said about this thing? Like, where do you stand on that issue? Can you share with me what you think I said about buying a home, because I want to make sure that we're on the same page? Or can you share with me what you heard from me, because I want to make sure I'm communicating clearly, right? It's not about an attack. It's about enhancing the level of understanding between the two of you, which deepens your intimacy. So that's step 6. And finally, once you've done this, now you should be in a position where each of you understands the other. And you probably understand yourself a bit more deeply. You probably feel a sense of relief that you've been able to share your thoughts and hear where your partner's coming from, especially if it's an area where their actions have been kind of bugging you. You're probably like, oh, wait, they weren't being a jerk on purpose. They just had their own perspective that might be a bit different from mine. So step 7 is, once you've achieved this level of understanding, now you can really step forward into exploring what it would look like to bring the two visions together. And whether you want to call it a compromise or whatever, but what would something look like, a future plan, a future hope, dream, vision, an action plan starting now that would honor each of your perspectives, each of your priorities, each of your values. And if you're struggling, that's okay, right? Just continue to go a little bit deeper into your values, and the deeper you go, the easier it's going to be to find compromise, because for the most part, we all tend to want the same things. We want close relationships, we want a comfortable life, we want to be able to do activities that we enjoy. So that's the content from today's video, and I know I said I'd have something for you that I know you're going to love. So click the link below, and I'm actually going to give you a link to download this information for free, put together a beautiful checklist. It's called the Essential Money Conversation Checklist, and you can keep this by you every conversation. Print a copy, have it on your phone, whatever. Make sure you're checking all those boxes, and if you do, those conversations are going to move you and your partner further along the path to peace and prosperity, and deepen your love for each other through the money conversation. So if you enjoyed the video, of course, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for weekly Wednesday videos on money and relationships. Would love to hear from you below, your thoughts on the video, and which of these tools you now think you want to incorporate into your relationship and your conversations about money, and also the difference that might make for you and for your relationship. And I'll leave the rest of the information to get in contact with me. I do coaching one-on-one with couples or one-on-two, so there's a link there to set up a free consultation call with me. If you're interested in seeing how this looks in your life, go ahead and click that link, pick a time, and we'll be on the phone in no time. And look forward to getting to know you. Thanks a lot, and have a wonderful day.